G'day guys, my name is Wildkard and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for following my content, I do really appreciate it. If you would like to support me with some coffee, hit the join button down below. Otherwise, let's get into this preview. Springboks versus the All Blacks, Game 2, 2021 Rugby Championship, 101st game between the two nations. What a monumental occasion. Last week saw the 100th test between the All Blacks and the Springboks, an extremely close contest, very clinical. It felt like probably a Rugby World Cup elimination match. The All Blacks came out with Kampao Pango. It was extremely tense, extremely high-paced. And the Springboks, I feel like maybe a bit of rustiness, maybe a bit of brain-dead play led to them kicking away a bit too many possessions, especially in the dying 10 minutes of the game, and allowed the All Blacks to clinch a 40 meter on the angle kick by Jordie Barrett, 2 points win over the Springboks. Will be very gut-wrenching for the Boks fans. Another close loss, another loss in the last dying minutes due to penalty, another long range 40 meter kick that led to their loss. So going into this game, people did expect perhaps the Springboks will switch up some of their backline, but the coach, Jacko Johan Jr., has decided to pitch pretty much the same 15 players from last week with a little bit of changes in the front row, which I thought was probably deserving a little bit. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And also, the Jacko Johan Jr. did say that the fact that they didn't play in 2020 is one of the reasons that they're a bit rusty this year. And also, he thinks that the kicking strategy is the Springboks' advantage and is part of their DNA. And he wants to bring the team back to their form in 2019 with pretty much, back in the same strategy, essentially. And it's interesting because, to be fair, the kicking from Springboks is very, very good. It's just sometimes, in certain situations, maybe there are better options than kicking. That is the criticism for the Springboks. Nobody's arguing that the kicking was bad. People is just saying that the kicking was done in a manner that was reckless and maybe unwise would be the word to put it. Faf's kicking is extremely accurate. The fact that he's always consistently be able to land those huge high bombs, and Jordie Barrett had talked about this in a video interview last week, that he talks about the ball being spinning around in all weird ways, and it was really high and it was like curving in the air. So it's really, really difficult to catch those kicks, and it takes a lot of skill to do that. It's not just randomly being able to do that, and his accuracy is extremely high. Pretty much anywhere he kicks, he'll be able to land it just outside of 22, like just pinpoint accurate kicking. So it's not a lie that the Springboks kicking is their strength, especially those boss kicks. But is there a point where it's just maybe a little bit too much? So something that up to Jacko Johan and his apprentice to think about. For the All Blacks, on the other hand, has made massive changes around the team. And before you think, oh yeah, typical All Blacks putting it on the bench after winning the game, no, they actually strengthened this lineup from last week. So unlike what you would normally expect with the All Blacks in this sort of situations, where they will put in, the B team after securing, because they've already won the Rugby Championship, they will probably just throw in the P team to give them a bit more experience, a bit more depth. But no, the All Blacks actually strengthened their lineup from last week with the addition of Anton Leonard-Brown, the addition of Richie, the greatest of all time, Mo'unga, and I think this will be, the All Blacks are coming in with an intention to completely close out a perfect Rugby Championship season. Fozzie calls it a grand slam. I don't know if that term's ever been used, but thinking about it, it's actually really hard for Rugby Championship to get a grand slam, since you have to play in South Africa in like a different time zone, and it's extremely difficult to win 100% of your games in these circumstances. But yeah, it's unlike the Springboks who lost the game. The All Blacks actually improved their lineup. So let's have a look at exactly what the changes are for the week. So the front row for the forward pack for the All Blacks, unchanged. I was a little bit surprised here because I did think that maybe Joe Moody was a bit rusty. They could potentially put him on the bench. Last week, he got penalized a number of times for technical fails, essentially. And it's just one of those things where having been in test matches resulted in just little things that wasn't going right for him. The All Blacks did seem to have the more dominant scrummaging, but they were penalized quite a little bit in the scrummaging as well. Quite a bit in the scrummaging, despite being more dominant. So it's interesting to see that. And in response to the All Blacks' dominance, the Springboks interestingly moved Trevor Nyanke from the loose head position to tight head. Well, South African fans will probably tell me that he's very good at tight head, but I just don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how good he is at a tight head up against Joe Moody. But Ox Nche is back at number 1. Oh, maybe he did play tight head a few weeks ago, didn't he? Like did Nyanke play tight head in coming off the bench in the Lions tour? Anyway, so Nyanke's moved to tight head instead of loose head, from the loose head position. And interestingly, I think Nyanke is actually a tight head. I'm pretty sure he's actually a tight head, but he played loose head last week. Yeah, I think that's why I'm a bit confused. I think he normally plays tight head. One of you guys, more South African fans, will tell me. I think he normally plays tight head, but he was playing loose head last week. Franz Malherbe got dropped, which I do think is the right move. He hasn't been in form since this year at all, I think. He has been struggling the scrummaging a lot. Unlike his form in 2019, world class, he is really not quite there at the moment, so he's dropped from the team. The rest of the back line has been the same. Let's quickly go through them. Joe Moody, Cody Taylor, Nipo Laulala stays at the tight front row, the front rows. Bungi Bunabi stays at number 2. Ibn Itzebeth after Brody Retallick, a perfect matchup in the lineouts. Du Diego, Scott Barrett, Cut Barrett at number 5. The lineouts has been a bit scrappy for both teams, very highly contested. So it will be interesting to see how that go again this week. The loose forwards, Sia Khaleesi at number 6, Huaka Smith at number 7, who played a extremely instrumental role last week for the Springboks, really lifting that intensity, really giving the Springboks that boost of energy, of just breakdown urgency for the Springboks. So he was really, really good. Unlike the previous weeks where the Springboks played a second rower in the number 7 position, like normally they play Peter Step du Toit there, and they've been trying with Franco Mostert at number 7 as well. So it's just not really that pace, just lacking a little bit of pace around the park. With Huaka Smith, a former Sevens player, it was really, really good last week. I'm very impressed by his performance. And for the number 8 position, Duan Vermeulen is... he was very good at breakdown as well for the Springboks. Despite being 35 years old, he's still probably one of the better number 8s in the world. I wouldn't say the best anymore, but still one of the better ones. Akio Ioane for the All Blacks at number 6 position at open side flanker. Adi Savia coming in at number 7 with the captaincy, and Luke Jacobson at number 8 for the All Blacks. And let's have a look at the back line. So few changes for the All Blacks. Really address some of the issues. Thanks for watching my videos and taking my selection advice. Sir Fozzie, I really do appreciate it that you made the changes as I have requested. So the All Blacks made some big changes in the back line, as I mentioned as I talked about when previewing this game last week. Ricky Ioane moves from outside center to number 11. Sebo Reese comes in at number 14. And Anton Leonard-Brown comes in at outside centre. Fozzie, you're welcome, mate. You're welcome. Like, comment, and subscribe, Fozzie. Okay? I know you've been watching these videos, and I do appreciate it. And for the Springboks, backline unchanged. Faf de Klerk at number 9. 100 Pollard at number 10. Bowden, the Black Sheep Barrett. Despite Ruchi Muonga is actually back in the team on the bench, despite the greatest of all time, the Black Sheep is still here at number 10. However, they did make the change at number 9 with Brad Weber coming in from off the bench and TJ Piranara back as he's at a finisher position at number 9. I do think that TJ and Bowden combination didn't work as well. There's lacking a little bit of spark between the two, and Bowden seems to be too flat with TJ around the park. You can tell both players are kind of like clashing a little bit in style because TJ is a bit of like alpha, bit of like someone who likes to direct traffic a little bit, and Bowden is also like a playmaker. So they're both kind of clashing a little bit being starting. So I do think that this is a much better option with Brad Weber coming off the bench and TJ Piranara coming in the second half, giving that energy, giving that alpha male mentality, and giving the whole team a boost off the bench is much, much better off. So once again, thanks for listening to my selection recommendations. Make recommendations, Sir Fozzie. If you win this one, feel free to send me the check. And then for the winger position, Rico Ioane moves into number 11. Rico is probably the best finisher for the All Blacks. Second best, actually, to Will Jordan. Will Jordan gets dropped, surprisingly. Maybe he's injured again. Not too sure what's happening there. Will Jordan, I think he may be injured, actually. Someone has to tell me. I didn't see anything on the news. But I think Will Jordan might be injured because he came off the field last week and he was replaced by D-Mac. So it was kind of weird for D-Mac to replace a winger. So maybe Will Jordan is injured or has a little bit of injury. Marco Zuluma Pimpi at number 11. Damien Delende, Lukamio Arm, the center combination. Again, the World Championship winning center combination that seems to never get used. Why do you have these two guys here? Jacko Johan, they don't even touch the ball the whole game. And David Havili stays at number 12. Really solidified himself as the premier number 12 position. Big shoes to fill following Maya Nonu and Sonny Bill Williams, but he's definitely taking up that mantle quite nicely. Still got plenty of room to improve, but he's definitely improving and getting there. Anton Leonard-Brown comes in number 13 for the All Blacks. He apparently had a little bit of injury again last week. Seems to be happy. Fozzie seems to be happy to put him back in an outside center position again. Obviously, George Bridge, as I told him so, was a bad selection at number 11. And sure enough, George Bridge led to the only try for the All Blacks. Led to giving away the only try for the All Blacks, which was quite bad. I told you, Fozzie. You didn't listen to me. Anyway, and then so Anton Brown at number 13, Sebo Reese at number 14, and Subu Nkosi. Unfortunately, there has been a lot of news that Cheslin Kobe would be back at number 14, but unfortunately not. And this means that, again, the Faf de Klerk's kicking, despite it being really good, the follow-up is really not going to be as good as you would expect if Cheslin Kobe is number 14. So it's going to be... I really think that they need to reduce that kicking count, especially without Cheslin Kobe to do the follow-up. It's not just about kicking the ball away, it's about getting the ball back, right? So if you don't have Kobe and his talents to get the ball back for you, you probably need to think about where and be more strategic about the kicking and not be so reckless. That's my opinion. Jacko Johan. And then Ville Leroux, number 15, again, he had a okay game last week, was under quite a bit of pressure. Some of his pressure relieving kicks not as good as you would expect. But again, you're playing against the All Blacks, it's kind of understandable. Jordie Barrett retains the number 15 position. He will be doing the kicking, the cream of the crop of the Barrett family. And let's look at the back line. So again, the Springboks have made one change in the back line. And this is probably the change that they wanted to make last week, but they wasn't able to because so Jasper Visser comes in. He he had a hearing for the shoulder charge against Samu Kurevi, but the hearing came after he was cited for a hearing. But the hearing came after the team selection for the Springboks. The Springboks tend to do the selections a little bit early, so he was not cleared before the selection was announced. So he missed out last week. So now he comes in at number 20. And I do think Marco van Staden is injured, who was at the 20 position last week. So yeah, Jasper Visser is a pretty good replacement for Van Staden. Probably slightly better than Van Staden, to be honest. He has been playing quite well, covering Vermeulen at number 8 position for the Lions tour. So not going to be an issue there. Malcolm Marks at number 16. Steven Kitsoff moved a number loose head position. Vincent Koch at number 18 in the tight head position. Asafo Amoa comes in for the All Blacks at number 16. George Bauer comes in at number 17 for the All Blacks. Both players comes in to replace the bench from last week. I think it was Takiaho and who was the other guy? Tuinukuafe. I think those two guys were replaced. So interestingly, they actually replaced the front rowers from last week, which the reserves came on. I thought they did quite well against the Kitsoff and Vincent Koch, but obviously Fozzie wanted to give these guys a go. Patrick Hattrick Tupulutu comes in at 19. Ethan Blackadder retains his position number 20. TJ Pienaar moves down to number 9. Herschel Yenshi stays number 21. Elton Yenshi is at number 22. Richie, the greatest of all time, comes in at number 22 for the All Blacks. D-Mac at number 23. Francois Stein stays his jersey at number 23. So one of the things that Jacko Johan Jr. said that he wanted to improve is bringing on these three guys a bit earlier in the second half, because last week Herschel Yenshis had 5 minutes, maybe even less than that, 5 minutes. And Elton Yenshis didn't even get on. I'm not sure if he even got on. I don't even remember he getting on the field. Francois Stein, I said, got like 2 minutes. So what's the point of having these three players on the bench? You might as well just put 8 forwards, and play the super bomb squad if you're not going to even use these guys, right? I mean, what's the point of Francois Stein coming on for 2 minutes and not even touching the ball? Like, literally, you might as well run 8 forwards, right? So he wanted to change that up a little bit. And Richie Mo'unga comes in for, who did he replace? For Quinton Tupea, who won the game for the All Blacks last week. Thanks for winning, mate. You get a break this week for the greatest of all time. And Richie Mo'unga will undoubtedly come on to replace Rico Ioane at number 11. And D-Mac will replace Jordy Barrow at number 15. I know that's what's going to happen. You mark my words. Mark my words. But anyway, that is the lineup, guys. Let me know what you think. This is interesting. I think I do think that the Springboks had a wing last week that they blew it, and the All Blacks, unlike the Springboks, recognize that they technically lost the game. So I'm very pleased to see that Fozzie made sweeping changes and watched my videos and took my selection recommendations into action. And let me know what you think, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys a bit later, maybe tomorrow, for the Wallabies versus Argentina preview. Cheers.